Welcome all. In the last lecture, we discussed the properties of LC emittance function. And using these properties, we can identify whether the given network function is a LC emittance function or not. Similarly, in today's lecture, we will discuss about the properties of RL impedance function properties, and the properties for RL impedance function is very similar to the properties of RC admittance function. And the first property is poles and zeros of RL impedance function. So I will write it like ZRL of S or RC admittance. So it will be Y RC of S. So the poles and zeros of ZRL or YRC will lie on the negative real axis. If you remember the last lecture where we discussed the properties of LC emittance function, the poles and zeros of LC emittance function used to lie on the imaginary axis, whereas the poles of RL impedance function or RC admittance function will lie on the negative real axis. Now, the second property will be poles and zeros of ZRL or YRL will interlace each other. Interlace, or the other word would be alternate each other. Say we have this S plane and all the poles and zeros of ZRL and YRC will lie on the negative real axis. This is the imaginary axis, this is real axis. So the poles and zeros of ZRL and YRC will lie on the negative real axis. If it is a real axis, then this side would be positive and this side would be negative. So all the poles and zero will lie in this region only. Okay. The second property says the poles and zeros of ZRL and YRC will interlace each other. Interlace means, say if a pole lie here, then the next to it would be a zero and next to it would be a pole, and this pattern will continue. That is, all the poles and zero will alternate each other. There should be no two zeros or no two poles in consecutive fashion. The third property is that ZRL of S will tend to 0 if S is tending to 0. Similarly, YRC of S will tend to 0 if S is tending to 0. Writing this in words, we will have singularity near the origin must be a 0. This singularity means all the poles and zeros. Poles and zeros. Among all the poles and zeros of this ZRL or YRC, there must be a zero which should be closer to the origin, and as can be seen from this pole zero plot, there is a zero which is closer to the origin. Let us discuss the fourth property. Residues of the poles of Z of S must be real and negative. Also, the residue of the poles of z of s by s must be real and positive. We will discuss this property in some numericals. So let us now attempt some numericals to have better understanding of the properties of RL impedance function or RC admittance function. Say we have this example 1. We are given this ZS, which is equal to S into S plus 4 divided by S plus 2 into S minus 5. And we are required to check whether it is ZRL function or not. So let us check all the properties of ZRL function. The first property of ZRL function says the poles and zeros of ZRL will lie on the negative real axis. Let us check poles and zeros. Here the zeros can be calculated by substituting numerator to be equal to 0. So I'll get s equal to 0 and s equal to minus 4. Similarly, the poles will be at s equal to minus 2 and s equal to 5. The first property says the poles and zeros of ZRL should lie on the negative real axis. That means they all should be they all should have real part and the real part should be negative. But here the 0 is s equal to 0, s equal to minus 4. So these two are satisfying the condition. This one is also satisfying the condition, but this is not satisfying the condition that because its real part is positive. That means it will be lying into the right hand side of the S plane. So the given function cannot be a RL function. So Z of S is not a ZRL function due to non-verification of condition 1. Let us attempt the second example. The second example is we are provided a impedance function which is 10 times s plus 1 into s plus 2 whole divided by s plus 3 into s plus 4. Now we are again required to check whether the given function is a ZRL function or not. Let us check the first property. The first property said the poles and zeros should be lying on the negative real axis. Let us calculate its zeros and poles. Zeros are s equal to minus 1 and s equal to minus 2. Similarly, the poles are lying at s equal to minus 3 and s equal to minus 4. So as we can see, all the zeros and poles are negative. That means we will say that all the zeros and poles are lying on the negative real axis. Hence the condition number 1 is verified. Condition 1 or the property 1 is verified or satisfied. Let us check the second property. The second property says the poles and zeros of ZRL or YRC will interlace alternate each other. Let us see. We can check this by plotting them onto the onto the S plane. Let us plot the poles and zeros on this S plane. We have 0 lying at minus 1. Let me encircle it. At minus 2 we have another 0. At minus 3 we have a pole. At minus 4 we have a pole. And as I can see from this plot that after a 0 there is again a 0, and after this pole there is a after this 0 there is a pole, and after this pole there is again a pole. That means the poles and zeros are not interlacing. Hence I will say it is not verifying the condition number 2. Poles and zeros are not interlacing at real axis. So Z of S is not a ZRL function. Let us discuss our third numerical. We have a network impedance function which is s plus 2 into s plus 4 whole divided by s plus 1 into s plus 3, and we are required to check whether it is a RL impedance function or not. Let us check the first property or the first condition. The first condition says all the zeros and poles should be negative. So zeros are -2 and -4, whereas poles are -1 and -3. So as I can see, all the zeros and poles are negative, that means, and real. That means the poles and zeros will be lying on the negative real axis only. Hence, the condition number 1 is verified. Condition number 1 is verified. Let us check the condition number 2. The condition 2 says the zeros and poles must interlace. As I can see, there is a pole at -1 first, and after -1 I have a 0 at -2, and after -2 I have again a pole at -3, and after this I have a 0. So that means the poles and zeros are interlacing. So I can write poles and zeros are interlacing. Hence the condition number 2 is also verified. Now we will check the condition number 3. Condition 3 says that ZS must have a 0 nearer to the origin. But from the calculation of these poles and zeros, I can see that -1 is more nearer to the origin. Hence we have a pole nearer to the origin. So ZS has pole nearer to the origin. It means this, it is not verifying the condition number 3, that is not verified. If the condition number 3 is not verified, we will write that given network function ZS is not a RL impedance function. That is, this ZS cannot be realized. Let us discuss next numerical. Okay, here ZS is given, which is equal to 2s square plus 8s plus 6 divided by s square plus 6s plus 8. And we are again required to check whether it is RL impedance function or what kind of function it is. We will start with checking it with whether it is the ratio of even to odd polynomials. As we can say, it has s square, s and s raised to power 0. So certainly it is not even. Similarly, it is not even. It is a general polynomial. So certainly it will not be a LC impedance function. Now we will check whether it is a RL impedance function or not. We'll check the first property. The first property says the poles and zeros of this ZRL or the given network function should be lying on the negative real axis only. So to calculate the poles and zeros, I will need to factorize it. I will rewrite it like I'll take 2 common out of it. I'll get s square plus 4s plus 3 divided by s square plus 6s plus 8. I can write s square plus 2s plus 4s plus 8. Similarly, I can write this to be as s plus 3s. So this will give 2 times s plus 1 into s plus 3 whole divided by s plus 2 into s plus 4. Now I will check the first condition. The first condition is the poles and zeros of the given network function should be lying on the negative real axis. So I will calculate the zeros. Zeros of the network function are -1 and -3. Similarly, the poles of the network function are at -2 and -4. -2 and -4. As I can see, all the poles and zeros are negative and real, so they will verify the condition number 1. Now I will check the condition number 2, which says the poles and zeros should interlace each other. Let us see. We have -1 here. Then after -1, I have a pole here. That is, after a 0, I have a pole. And after this pole, I have again a 0. And after this 0, I have a pole. That means the poles and zeros are interlacing. So they are verifying the condition number 2. That is, poles and zeros are interlacing. So they are verifying the condition number 2. Condition 2 or property 2 is verified. Condition 1 is also verified. Now we will check the condition number 3. The condition number 3 says among all the poles and zeros, there should be a 0 lying closer to the origin. And among all these, I can see that there is a 0 which is at -1, which is very near to the origin among all these. So I will say a 0 is lying closer to the origin. Hence, condition 3 is also verified. Condition 3 is verified. Now I will check the condition number 4, which says the residues of poles should be real and negative. Let us check the residues. We have 2 into s plus 1 into s plus 3 whole divided by s plus 2 into s plus 4. We can calculate the residue for s plus 2, and this can be calculated by multiplying, say if it is zs, by multiplying the zs with the given pole. I will multiply zs with the given pole s plus 2 and then substituting s equal to -2. I will get, after multiplying zs with s plus 2, this s plus 2 will cancel out with this. I will get 2 into s plus 1 into s plus 3 whole divided by s plus 4. Now I will substitute -2 here. So the -2, after the substitution of -2, I will get 2 into -2 plus 1 will be -1, -2 plus 3 will be +1 divided by -2 plus 4 will be +2. Solving this, I will get -1. That is, the residue at s plus 2 is negative. Similarly, we will calculate the residue at s equal to s plus 4. So the residue for s plus 4 will be, I will multiply zs with s plus 4 and I will substitute s equal to -4. So it will come out to be 2 into s plus 1 into s plus 3 whole divided by s plus 2. Now I will substitute s equal to -4 here. That is, s equal to -4. So if I substitute s equal to -4 here, I will get 2 into -4 will give -3 from this and -1 from this and -2 from this. And on solving, I will get the residue to be equal to -3. That is, the residue at s is equal to -4 is -3. Also the residue at s plus 2 is -1. Hence the residues of the poles of the zs are coming out to be negative, and hence the condition 4 is verified, and hence given function zs is a RL impedance function. impedance function, and it can be realized using the R and L components or elements. That's it for this lecture. We will discuss the various synthesis methods in the next lecture.